Okay, this is Bacchus, and let me just move my microphone so you can hear me a little better. I apologise if you can hear me breathing a little bit heavy. I've got a bit of a bad chest. However, many requests have been requesting that somebody produce a modding tutorial that isn't using the dark mode of Cheat Engine because many people are finding it difficult to see what's being done with the dark mode. So I'm going to do a full tutorial from the exact beginning, from the desktop without anything being opened, showing you guys how to use the script. Now, this is a live editor, not a save editor that I'm using. They work very different. A live editor edits live data as it suggests. So you're in game and you're editing the item while in game, and then you'll force a save, which commonly causes a crash upon restart, which is completely normal. A save editor actually edits your save file, so you don't need the game open for that. Many people prefer a save editor, some people prefer a live editor. So for those who prefer the live editor, this tutorial is for you. There is a save editor made by Arwent available, so by all means check out the link and download that if you so choose. It's always best to use the latest script because usually it comes with the most bug fixes. So let's get started. First of all, you're going to want Tiny Tina's open. Also, you're going to want the script, and obviously you're going to want Cheat Engine, which can be found with a simple search. But if you're watching this, that top one there, cheatengine.org, and there's the download link. But that's enough of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to open that script as said. And while the game's loading, this is where I prefer to access this. Keep the address and mark the blue box. Now, we don't have to do anything just yet until we're in game because none of this information is populated. So, I'm going to use the Berserker I'm working on, and I'm going to do one of the swords while you're watching. So, let's continue. Now, I may add, not every combination will work. You may find parts that really don't like being used too much, or you might it might not like what you're doing. So in modding, it's always trial and error. So let's get started. So you're going to need to be near a quick change station or a vending machine. The reason for that is you're going to have to force a save after you've altered your item. So I have this item here, a Stoking Ragnarok of the Lawless. We can look at this, and what you want to do first is maybe look at the parts. You can see that offers a nice chunk of damage, crit damage, and crit chance, but that's a lot of attack speed loss. There's no parts on there that really give attack speed, which is unfortunate. So now here's a key thing about weapons. You cannot change manufacturers. This is a Torg weapon. You cannot say use Swift parts on a Torg weapon through the live editor. I'm not sure how lenient the save editor is yet. I have not personally used it. I will be looking into that at some point. So if I look through my inventory at the Torgs, on here it looks like we might have some attack speed maybe, but I'm still unsure. However, what I'll do is I will equip it just to have a look. So now we have the information within here. What's always good to do first is you want to do an Unreal Engine 4 dumper. This is so we can populate the parts. So commonly whilst modding an item, you'll notice that some of the fields are blank and you don't know what's there. Well, using this, it will help you with that. This shouldn't take too long. There we go. So you want to initiate the object dumper next. Again, this might take a moment. The speed of this scan is purely dependent on the performance of your PC and the available resources. If you're using laptop, which is like medium, and you might go a little slower. A friend was using the script and on a laptop, his RAM was fine, but his CPU made this quite a prolonged process, like near 10 minutes long, which is not really what you want. There you go, that's done. So here we have a dump text in 43 seconds for me. So now we want to open up the equipped item editor and have a look at that melee. Then we want the item and parts list editor. Right here we can see the parts. So right here we have increased attack speed, which I'm going to need for that next weapon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to switch back to that other weapon. Here it is. So now we have that weapon up. So pull our cheat engine back up. As you can see, that's all reverted back to that. So I'm going to scroll back up, put this in compact mode so you can see everything. So first thing you want to do is move the item to a safe location. So what this does, it moves the item into a secure pocket of memory. This is to try and avoid crashes while editing. So I know already that this perk right here, which is like one of the determiners as such, which determines the nature of a weapon or an item. So that reduces the melee, the attack speed significantly, but it's going to give us a lot of stats. But we don't want a sword that takes 2 minutes to swing. So how I'm going to approach this is, first of all, we look at the part list size. So that's 6. Having that as 6 implies that all the way down to here, we have items in use. Now you can't see what that is, which is what I was mentioning earlier. So this is where we'd go to get one ID names. Again, this is going to run the LUA script, and it's going to do a quick scan, and there we are. So if I pull this up now and take this full screen, we can see here the ID part 6, which was not visible here, look. We can now, oh, where's my LUA script gone? There it is. We can see that is a legendary rarity part. So it's potential that we could change that to a common part, and the weapon would show us a common piece, but we don't want to do that. So these are the IDs we want to change. So instead of holding control and clicking through these individually, what we can do is go to quick IDs. So as we know, number 1 to 6 is already occupied. So I'm going to do 7 to 20. Okay, I'm going to do 7 to 21. So what you do is you open all them up together and you post the ID in. Now that doesn't look like much there, it just looks like I've changed a bunch of numbers, but that has in fact added the attack speed all the way down here. That being said, now we want to see what we can do with this main part. Again, that's that nice stat piece that had minus attack speed. So we know that we started at 21, well, ended at 21, so now we'll go to 22. And I'm just going to throw this all the way down and cover the entire piece. And I'm going to post that value in there for that part. So again, I'm going to pull that back up. Now we know we have used all 63 pieces. So what you must do, and this is essential, is replace this value to state that we're using 63 pieces. Also, you're going to want to enhance the item rarity / quality. So you're going to scroll all the way down and you're going to find overpower level perm and double click that and change to ascended. Once you've done that, you may minimize this. If this has worked, you can just simply go to a vending machine, buy something, see the save in the top left corner, and quit game, return to main menu, and we should get a crash. There we go. That crash is completely fine and completely expected. So if you get that crash, do not worry in the slightest. So, again, we're going to load up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. By the way, big credit to Liza Tag for producing with that background. I added a few animations to it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, here we go. We're going back into game, and once again, as I said, don't worry about all this. I'm just going to disable compact mode, and I'm going to re-enable to the fresh process. Just accept that, and then just relink. If it doesn't link straight away, just wait a minute. What's probably about to happen is it's probably going to get me to sign in. And once it, yep, there we go. I've authorized it through Epic, so now it'll probably let me hook to it. There we go. Don't necessarily need that at the minute, so I'm going to move that to the side onto my other screen, because you guys are wanting to see the result of the item. So now, go to continue. Now, as I said, there is a chance it hasn't worked and it's disappeared because it might not like those parts. Just because the part is the same manufacturer does not always mean the weapon will accept it. Oh, I have my sword. So, let's go to the target dummies before I look at this, and let's just test its performance, because I might want to make some further edits. That, for my liking, is a little slow. That's some nice range, so let's inspect the weapon itself. We're still at minus attack speed, so I'm not entirely happy with that. We have some very nice stats, however. That critical damage and that damage alone, the critical chance is through the roof, and it should have no problem with any enemies. However, a slow swing speed like this, I feel, should be left to the fish, because when you're modding the fish and you're using the fish, you want them to feel that fish slap round their face. So, let's open up Cheat Engine again. So again, I'm going to pop it into compact mode just so we can see what we're doing. And this is why I put the attack speed early on, so I can access it much faster. So I dread to think what that attack speed would have been. Again, move to save location. Always remember to do this. This is why this text is made red, because people like Oblivmin, hey Oblivmin, much respect, kept forgetting to do so. I am also guilty of such. So I'm going to go to quick paste IDs, and I'm going to go down to 22, because that's where I ended that streak. It doesn't necessarily need to be in that order. I'm just using this as personal preference. I like to keep my weapon tidy. So we're at 22. I'm going to go to 35 or around. There we go. So I'm now going to change those values to attack speed. That's all I have to do with that, because everything else has been done already. I'm no longer near a vending machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the quick change station. All you have to do, enter it, exit it, and you'll get your autosave. From there, yet again, just quit the game and quit the main menu and expect the crash. Again, as stated, that is not something to worry about. I'll minimize my cheat engine for a minute, and I will load Tiny Tina's once Epic figures out what it's doing. So I'll click that, hopefully that registers. Yep, that's registering. So I'll go into my cheat engine again, minimize my compact mode, because I'll need to rehook this process. Again, just accept those and it refreshes the data. As you can see, it directly attached that time, no problem. It saved most of the things that I did here previously, which I don't really need open. I will leave this open just in case we want to make further edits. I apologise if the game sound is too loud. Again, also if you can hear my heavy breathing, I do have a bad chest as I mentioned, but I wanted to get this video out to you guys. Authorised through Epic, which I absolutely hate doing. So Epic, if you ever come across this video, please don't put that splash screen up where we have to click yes every time we load the game. Just load the damn game. Okay, so we're back in game and we can continue again. By the way, I'd like to take this minute to say I would love to thank all the admins and moderators of Tiny Tina Wonderlands Borderlands 1, 2, 3 modded and none. I'd also like to make a special thanks to all of the dupers and distributors. Without you guys, we would not be able to get this content out to everybody. You guys are the heart and soul of the community. And the more you guys can get this content out for free, remember, mods are always and should always be free. If we can flood out this content as much as possible, hopefully people will stop buying them from imbeciles on eBay. Why people go to eBay instead of just simply searching for a modded page on Facebook is beyond me, but you can't fix stupid. So let's have a test at this weapon now after we've added some attack speed. That is a much nicer swing. That swing is more of a realism swing. So that is quite content. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. It makes you feel like you're swinging a big sword. It could go faster if I so choose. So if we inspect that now, instead of a minus 59 or 49 attack speed, we now have a 1.43, which is around the average attack speed of a sword. We have significantly lost damage. However, we still have a nice chunk of crit damage. So that's not too bad. As you can see, that's not going to struggle killing things. just for giggles. So, if anybody ever has any questions in regards to the script, I am more than happy to answer if I can. I should be able to answer most questions, but there is always something that I might be unsure of. So that is the end of this basic tutorial on modding an item. I hope it's been helpful. And I look forward to seeing some of your creations in the community, and I'm absolutely loving the fact that more and more people are taking an interest in modding. If we go back to Borderlands 1, there was only a handful of modders actually producing good content and actually doing things nice. Borderlands 2 brought in a new wave of modders, which was great. Borderlands 3 even more, and now we have Tiny Tina's. There is more and more upcoming modders than I've ever seen in the game, and I just want to say, if you're ever unsure, always ask a modder. Furthermore, if you fail a few times, don't worry, that is part of the process. Just keep going, keep trying new things, and eventually you will get there. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We all have to at some point. Before I leave, I want to say a big thanks to Cracker and Arwent. Your work has been absolutely amazing and enabled many of us to produce this gear to provide to the community. So yeah, that is the end of this tutorial. I'm Bacchius, as you all know. I can't wait to go back into retirement and stop modding and let you guys take over. And good day and happy gaming, guys.